Hello everybody, this is Lisa and I decided to do a class today. It's 5 p.m. I'm going to wait for some people to join us. There weren't very many classes offered today on VerbLink, so I decided to do this one, and so I'm hoping that people didn't give up on us and they came back to see if there was something new and that they'll show up. Sometimes if there's no classes listed for a little while, people stick to getting partners and don't check on the classes. So we'll see if people see that we're here and that I'm here and that I'm going to be offering this class. The class that I wanted to do today is for intermediate and advanced students, because it's going to be a conversation about the topic of the school shooting that happened yesterday in the United States in Connecticut. And of course it's a very upsetting event that has occurred for many people across the United States and of course others. So I thought we might talk about it. It comes up, you know, and part of learning English, of course, is to be able to talk about things and how you feel about stuff and issues that come up in everyday life. And this is something that unfortunately does come up. So I put it as advanced, but Luis, you might want to join us. You can also come into the chat and listen if you're not sure you want to discuss this topic. Then feel free to just listen and see what happens here. Hi Motaz, how are you?
Hey Lisa.
Hi. So we're just waiting.
It's my first lesson with you.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome. It's not the most exciting one, I'm afraid. I chose the topic of current events and what happened yesterday. I don't know if you're aware of it, but yeah, the school shooting. So I put on there advanced, and I see that there's some people in the chat that are a little bit afraid to join because they maybe think that their level of English is not high enough to be able to discuss. But Rodrigo and Luis and others watching, because I see that there are others watching, please feel free to join in. And you can come and join the chat, and I will speak in a way that is easy enough to understand, because I know you guys can understand what I'm saying. So if you want to join us. Hi, Luis. Are you there, Luis? I see that you joined us. Maybe your microphone isn't on or working. So, Motaz.
Yeah.
Why don't we get started? We'll just see if people are brave enough to join in. I see that they're hanging out in the chat a little bit watching, and so you and I can have a little discussion. Where are you?
I'm from Syria.
From Syria, okay. This is the first time you've been in one of my classes? Or you've been
Yeah.
in? Oh, okay. I thought you were in before. All right. So, so for this, I was going to provide this link to a page that we could look at so that we could talk about this. So there are people watching. Maybe you don't want to join in the chat, so I'm going to talk. And then if you want to write things in the chat, ask questions, or express yourself in writing instead of coming in to the Hangout so that you can talk, that's okay. You don't need to be nervous. Luis, I see you think it's difficult, but it won't be too difficult, I don't think. And I'm going to and I'll provide vocabulary and words that you can use to express yourself in the chat. Luis, did you make it? Did you get your microphone to work? It doesn't seem like it. Okay, so I put in the chat there. I'll put it on the screen. So in case anybody doesn't know what happened, I'm sure most of you probably do, since most of the VerbLink students are very good at being on the internet, and they are aware of what's happening in the world. So what happened is a very sad event for many people in the United States, and that was that a young person decided somehow, for some reason which we don't understand and we don't know, of course, to go into a school and open what we call open gunfire. And what open gunfire means is he started shooting. And so unfortunately what happened is he got in there and he was able to shoot several children and some of the teachers and the principal. Of course, they're still learning about everything that happened, and so I can't really speak to all the events that happened. And what I wanted to do anyways in this discussion would be to maybe talk about why these things happen and what can we do to prevent them. And I was hoping that some other people would show up in the class, because I was wanting to know what some of the laws are around guns in your country, in your place, and whether or not this type of thing happens where you live and how people deal with it. Hi, Luis.
Hey, Lisa.
How are you?
How are you?
Good. I'm doing
I'm
good.
good. I'm good.
Welcome
I'm so
back.
glad to. Thanks. It's always nice to participate in your class.
Oh, thank you. Well, I was a little bit hesitant today to do this topic, but it is something that's a current event, and so part of learning another language and speaking English is reading the newspaper or watching the news and being able to speak about things that are happening in the world. So Yasin, yes, I saw that you wrote in the chat that we are very sad for the children, and of course we're all very sad, and it's very sad, especially for parents of children, thinking about their own children and how horrible that would be if it happened to them. So it's not a happy topic, but it is one that that we can talk about and we can learn a lot of English with and be able to speak not just about the events that happened, but also about our feelings, and you know, learning the words about feelings and how to express yourself when something like this happens. So, Luis, do you know what I'm talking about? The shootings that
Yes.
okay, yes.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm wondering, why don't we just start by, why don't you tell me, was it something that was reported on in Brazil?
A lot of reports going to USA to make some reportages. I don't know how to say
Some reports?
materials. Reports, yes, about this.
News reports?
Fact.
Yes.
Yes, reports, yes.
Yes.
Yes, a lot of people.
Yes. And I'm wondering, is this something that has happened in Brazil? I have not. I do not know.
2 years ago, I guess. I will check, but 2 years ago happened a similar case.
Mm-hmm.
I will check now. But
Okay. Yeah, similar incident or case, like you said.
I will check. I'm checking.
Okay,
It
great.
happened in Denver before.
Yes. So yeah, let me just explain, because again, I see that there are viewers watching, even though we only have 2 people in the chat right now joining us. We have some viewers. So this is not something new that has happened in the United States. It has happened before, and it's always very upsetting when it does happen, of course. I would say that most human beings do not want other human beings to die, especially in this way. People who are innocent and have not done anything to provoke this, or they're not in the situation of a war situation where maybe this type of thing is happening because 2 different sides of are fighting against each other. They're just kids, innocent kids, and people who are just doing their day-to-day life. And of course, it's so much a surprise when something like this happens. But like Motaz said, it has happened before in the United States, and apparently it is continuing to happen. So that's one of the things that people in the United States are talking about right now, and what I thought we might talk about a little bit in the conversation is what are the issues and why do people do these types of things? We don't really know, but how can we prevent these types of things from happening? What are the issues? Hi, Mohammed. Are you there?
No, I'm Yasin actually. I'm using my
Yasin.
brother's account.
You look
How are you, teacher?
good. I'm good. Thank you. Okay, welcome. So yeah, so some of the other shootings that have happened in the United States have been the Columbine shooting, which was also
Yeah, we heard about that.
the Columbine one, and then the Virginia Tech, that was also a horrible one, where the guy shot a bunch of university students. So one of the main things that comes up, so for example, I'm on Facebook. I have lots of friends on Facebook, and so one of the things that has been happening since yesterday is everybody is expressing, of course, their sadness and their grief. I'll write that in there. Grief means you're very, very sad and you're grieving. They're expressing that on their Facebook wall. And then other people are what we call outraged, which means that they are very upset and they're mad, they're angry, and they want the U.S. government to do something about the guns in the United States, so that when people are sick and they aren't thinking clearly, that when they what we call, maybe go crazy, or they have rage, or they have thoughts of killing people, that they can't do it with guns. Now, that's a very controversial topic in the United States, because part of our Constitution in the United States gives us the right to bear arms. So arms is weapons. So when our country was being formed a couple hundred years ago, it was very important to the people then to be able to have guns, because they were afraid that the government would be too powerful, and they didn't want to give up their power to a group of people that called themselves the government. And there are people, yes?
Actually, I have a question.
Okay.
But why did he made that? Why the gun shooter shoots the children? For what? Is that sick of him or what?
Yes.
I want the reason.
Yes. And Yasin, that's exactly what people don't know. I mean, we can't really get into the mind of that person. I was reading some of the news reports, and of course, everybody's looking for answers. We want answers. Why did he do this? He was only 20 years old, and they ask people about his childhood. Oftentimes, people look for childhood trauma. Oftentimes if a child has been abused physically, emotionally, sexually.
It needs a lot of investigations.
Yeah, so right now they're investigating. In this particular case, he did actually kill his mother. So he went first and shot his mom, and then he went to the school with guns that his mom had in her house. Yeah. That's what I read anyways, in her house. I'm writing it here. So, this is a family, the way I understand it, it was a very wealthy area, this part of the world, the Connecticut. There's a lot of rich people there, so it was not a place that's typically very violent or very poverty-stricken. There's, very nice houses, very, what people consider safe, yet we don't really know what happened to him. What was some people said he might have had some type of mental illness, and that's something that they're investigating right now to try to understand why somebody would do something like this. We don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, me either.
Yes, it's a very, obviously it would be a very horrible thing for himself, and that's probably why he ended up shooting himself as well, because you would not want to live with yourself after you caused so many people so much tragedy and grief. Yeah.
Lisa,
Yes.
I think the I think the world going to be very violent because the films are violence and
The film.
the games you can take the gun kills everybody in the games also. I think it's that's influence the people
Okay.
to do something like that.
Yes. So Luis is bringing up one of the common things that people bring up today is that we live in a very violent world, or a violent culture, we say, and that a lot of people, I would say especially guys, and we have all guys right now in the class, but especially guys tend to prefer some action and adventure, and a lot of today's movies and video games, they do have a lot of violence in them, meaning they have characters where you are shooting other people. Some video games are very, what we call graphic. That means that you see the blood and you see the head falling off, that kind of stuff. And so there are definitely some people who argue that that contributes to a mindset of thinking that you can do that, or that you might know how to do that, or want to do that as a way to express your anger, perhaps. So I don't know if there's been ever any links. They call that links to between video games and actual violence. I don't know. But that's certainly one thing that many, especially parents, bring up, and they have concerns about. One of the other issue is, of course, in a video game, you're just playing the game, so many people know that, and then there are some people who maybe don't understand that. But of course, I don't know that a video game would cause somebody to take another person's life. And one of the big things is, why do people have guns anyways? So some people are asking that question because, for example, if he did not have access to guns, perhaps he would still be able to get some kind of other weapon, but with other weapons you have to do a lot more physical, use your body and your strength to kill somebody. It's not so easy, but with a gun you can do a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. So,
in Brazil, it's prohibited.
So
Have a gun.
Yeah, so that's what I was wondering. I wanted to show people, because I was surprised myself, that, let me see if I can get it here. One of the guns that he apparently had was this type of gun right here.
Shotgun? It's
Let's see. Can you see it?
Yes.
Whoops, sorry.
it's similar to Counter-Strike one.
Yeah. So that was one gun that apparently was there and that he had. And when I see that, I think to myself, why would somebody have a gun like that? Because I know that, of course, some people use guns for hunting, and they have some very high-powered guns to be able to shoot animals like deer or elk or moose. That's popular still in our country, and that's how some people even feed themselves still, so that's a legitimate way. However, I was surprised that a person would just have those guns. Of course, some people like guns and they collect them.
Lisa, I will continue by chatting, okay?
Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. If you want to have a question or say something, just put it in the chat. That's fine. Hi, Victor, you're joining us, and hi, Luis, you got on. I didn't miss you there. I just was talking, but I want to say hi there.
Hi.
Luis, where are you
Hi.
joining us from? Where do you live?
Hi, I'm from
Brazil.
Brazil.
You're from Brazil too?
Not the Luis.
Hi
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
there.
Sorry.
And Victor, where are you? Hi. I'm talking to you. Hi. Is your mic on? Because I don't hear you if you're talking. Yeah, I can't hear you. Anyways, I'm going to go back here. So that was one of the guns that he had, and another type of gun that he had was this pistol here. So basically, I don't know that if you guys know this, but in the United States, it's not very difficult to get yourself a gun. And that is one of the problems. Well, a lot of people, yes, Yasin, that was a pistol. A lot of people in the United States are very confused about why it's so easy, and they want to know why is it so easy to get a gun in the United States. Because I saw, for example, on my Facebook wall, some people said that when you drive a car, for example, when you're 16, 17, 18, and you want to get your license, in the United States, you must take a driver's training course, which costs several $100s. You must pass a test, a written test, and a driving test, and you must have many hours behind the wheel driving before you get your license. But it's not very hard to get a gun. So some people are saying that it should be harder to get a gun, and that everybody who has the guns should have a lot of training, and they should have maybe insurance, and we should know who has the guns. Of course, one of the problems of this, just like with cars, is somebody can take your guns. So the way I understand it from the reports is that these guns that this man used were guns owned by his mother. So she did buy them legally, and she was older. So somebody says, Rodrigo says that only people above 16 years old can have a gun. Yes, that's probably true. I don't know the age limit, but because this was these guns belonged to his mother, he took them from her house and then was able to use them. So that's also an issue that necessarily isn't solved just with more rules. So, Luis, in Brazil, is it true that nobody can have a gun? Nobody can buy a gun, or?
And actually, no, and nobody. It's wrong. On cops,
Sure.
can cops, okay,
Uh-huh.
and only special peoples can do,
Okay.
and but a normal people
Mm-hmm.
can to buy a guns, but it's very very complicated.
Okay.
Make the the people need to make a test, and it's so expensive. It's so hard to have a gun here.
Okay. Yes. So that sounds like something that more Americans would like to happen here, to make it more difficult for people to buy guns and to own the guns. Yes. Because I don't know if you know this, but in the United States here, we have many stores. Well, they have them in other countries now too. Walmart is a store, and sometimes some sporting goods stores. You can go there and buy a gun. And that seems, after something like this that happens, it makes people think, is that such a good idea? Is it a good idea to sell guns at stores like that, you know?
In Brazil, doesn't have gun stores.
Yeah. It
Uh,
doesn't?
as-
There are no gun stores? Yeah.
no.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Victor, did you get your microphone to work? I can't hear you. Sorry. Okay. I can't hear anything that you're saying. Okay, maybe turn up your mic or plug it in and take it out again. I don't know. Luis, do you have an opinion about gun control and whether or not it's a good idea for people to be able to get guns or no?
I think it's a bad idea. You can anyone can buy a gun. It's bad, very bad, because you don't know about the mind people.
Mm-hmm. You don't, yeah.
Yes. I think it's very wrong. Anyone can buy guns.
Yeah.
I prefer it. It's like here, and I guess 4 years ago, I don't know, have elections.
Yes, you had elections in Brazil.
Yes, to decide if you can have a gun or not.
Okay.
And the people vote to don't have a gun.
Okay.
You can, yes.
Okay, so they voted to not have guns.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that people feel safer then in Brazil, knowing that other people can't buy guns?
Sorry?
Okay. Do you think that people in Brazil feel safer that way?
Yeah. So because the bandits have a gun.
Because
it's
why?
so complex. The bandits.
Oh, yes.
Illegal
okay.
guns.
Yeah.
They can. So but I think it's better that idea. It's you can't buy a gun. I prefer that.
Okay. Yeah. So I understand what you're saying is that I wrote it in the chat. So even though it's illegal in Brazil, people do buy some guns sometimes. And,
it's illegal. Yes. It's illegal.
Is it are there gangs or like drug dealers or people like that probably who have guns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
bandits.
Yeah, bandits. Criminals, perhaps. People.
Yes.
Robbers. Yeah.
Robbers. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody have a gun.
Yeah. Yes. I'm gonna ask the other Luis because we have two Luises in here, one with an S and one with a Z. So Luis Alberto, hi there.
Yeah. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Do you have any opinions about guns and whether or not people should have guns or not have guns? Or...
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Okay, so, well, I was watching the news about what happened in the United States, and it really scares us about the situation. You know, it's pretty much scary to see how easy the citizens, how can I say, get their weapons. You know, the type that weapon that you just that you just showed us.
Yes.
It's almost impossible for Brazilians, you know, get them.
Yes.
It's not. So that kind of weapon, it's legal to any citizen, an American, to have. Is this legal?
Apparently it is. Yes, because I don't know everything about the gun laws, but I do know that in the reports they said that this his mother had collected guns and she had bought those guns legally. They were registered in her name. Yes, so it was okay for her to buy those types of guns. Yes.
Wow, I think it's totally, how can I say, it's totally weird.
Unbelievable, huh?
Yeah, it's totally unbelievable. The kind of weapons totally, a kind of military one. It's not a. I
Yeah.
think it's not supposed to citizens have weapons like that.
Yeah, I don't know much about guns, but I was reading some other articles, and it said that that same gun was used in some other types of shootings that were like sniper shootings. So that means, where somebody's hiding out. You see it in the movies a lot, snipers, but they're shooting people from like a hiding place. So, yes, I think going back to what Luis was saying too, is it's so interesting because even though definitely there's a lot of movies that have this type of, they use characters have guns and they have shootings and tragedies and a lot of like war type movies or suspense thriller movies.
And listen,
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
and listen, I'm a little worried because a few time ago, someone into the cinema
Uh-huh.
and just shoot for.
Oh. Yes.
It's turning common, very common. It's complicated.
Yes. It's becoming more and more common.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
bad.
Yes. Yeah, and that's another one of the issues that, of course, people in the news and on Facebook and people are trying to understand why is this happening more and more, and is it actually happening more and more? It's an interesting thing that I've been doing history with my two sons. They are homeschooling, and so we do history at home. And we've been learning about the time periods of the Dark Ages and all the empires and ancient, the Roman Empire. And I have to tell you that it was also very violent back then. And people didn't have guns, but they had swords, and it was very easy to just cut people's heads off, And we were learning about the Christian Crusades, and that was just horrible, a lot of, so it seems like in human history there has been a lot of killing. And it's something that people like us, we just don't understand why that is happening. But
I have an opinion about it.
Okay, tell us.
I think this kind of situation, it just happened over here in Brazil about 2 years ago. And I think the Brazilian one only done that because he saw the same situation happening in the United States. So I think the way the media spread all this happening, the situation. The shorter become like a famous one. The name spread all over the world. I think it's a little bit related to that. So maybe it's a person that probably would someday kill himself, and he decided to make this and a great happening. With shooting another people just to be famous. I think
And Lisa.
Yes.
And what you said, in the school you just listen and listen, but now you can see in the movies. And, the movies every day comes be very real, real, and computers graphics helps that come to be very real. So it's bad. It's influential.
Your mind.
The mind.
Yes. Some people. What you both were saying is very true. Some people have that. as a very big concern that because of movies today and the internet and everything is so graphic that everybody is seeing people being killed and being shot, and then like Luis was saying, they become famous. So that is one of the things that I've been reading in the media too, is that they're trying, some of people are trying not to make this person famous. They're trying to maybe even not talk about him so much, and to focus on the children and their families and how to help them and how to recover. Because obviously now many of the people in that school and in that community, even though they were not harmed, they have very horrible memories, and maybe the children who heard the shooting, you know, they're going to have to be able to talk about it, and they're going to probably need some counseling and to try to understand why this would happen. So yeah, it's important not to broadcast it all over the place and make this something that is turning this person into, you know, doing something famous, like you said, that maybe in other countries or in other places a person would say, hey, I'm going to do that thing because I'm going to make a big event or a big impact. Yeah. So I know there's some people joining us. Junaid, hi there.
Hi, Lisa.
How are you?
Good.
And Victor, are you there? We have two
Yeah, I'm
Victors
here.
now. I have two Victors and two Luises in here.
It's a little bit complicated now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
And
I feel lonely.
and Motaz, how are you doing over there? So
Oh my God.
Motaz, you are in Syria, you said, and so I'm wondering, what are the gun laws like in Syria? Is it possible for a citizen to get a gun?
You don't know what happened in Syria?
Well, I know what's happening a little bit, but I don't know about the gun laws in
Bomb,
Syria.
missile, gun, everything.
Oh God.
We have a war out there.
Yes, I know.
It's actually war.
So at
Civil war.
this point, it's kind of we call that a moot point. It means you can't really talk about it because it's not the normal time, right? It's a very special.
But can I say
different-
something?
Yes, please.
Those people who killed another people, why? I think because their life is empty.
Mm-hmm.
They are sick, mentally sick.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important thing, they don't have a religion. Because in Christianity or Islam, God forbid to kill another person.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree? Or what?
I think all religious, they don't accept anyone to kill another person.
Yeah.
Yes.
But,
I would say that what I understand about religion, and when I see people, is that the religion may say one thing, and some people do whatever they want to do anyway. So even Christians, they will kill people, and they have in the history, but it's not necessarily what the religion tells them to do. So I would say that there are many complicated reasons why people might kill another person, and if I knew what those reasons were, I might be a killer myself, because then I would be thinking like they are, and so I don't think that way. I don't know, and I don't understand.
the problem, Lisa, sometimes some people, they need the gun in the home.
Okay. Yeah.
If you call 911, maybe the police come late.
Yes.
Yeah, and they need the gun immediately.
Yes.
So this is the problem: how to balance between the people who need the gun and the people who use the gun at wrong way.
Right. So Junaid, we were talking about that a little bit, and Luis shared with us that in Brazil it's illegal, that the people voted to make it illegal to have guns, but it does happen that people do get guns illegally. So that is true sometimes too. In the United States, as you might know because you're living in Arizona, it's legal for people to what we call bear arms or to buy weapons, guns, and there's not that much regulation. It's actually not very hard to get guns, and that's a concern for many people. But how you're bringing up the other aspect of the argument is, what about for self-protection?
Yeah.
Okay, and so in the United States, some people also I saw on Facebook, they were talking about things, and they were saying in the United States, schools are what we call a gun-free zone. And if you go to an American school, you'll probably see a poster or like a sign.
A note, yeah.
Yeah, they say drug-free zone and a gun-free zone, and that the idea behind that was for kids not to bring guns to school, and especially in some maybe big cities where there might be gangs and other types of people who might be carrying guns. So it's an interesting idea that that's a gun-free zone, and so the people who are at schools are what we call unarmed. And so some people have said maybe we should arm the teachers, or maybe we should put security guards in the schools.
I think they put security guards, and they put there is a technology in the airports.
Mm-hmm.
And the gate, in the gate of the in the gate of any school.
Yes. And that brings up a lot of things, because a lot of people, they don't want to feel like they live in a, let's say, a police state, or what's another, where there's so much, like you have guns and I have guns and we're going to just use them if we need to, you know. They want, some people would prefer to have more peaceful living, and so some people think that the best way to do that is to have no guns, for nobody to have guns. So, but
this leads us to another problem.
Okay, tell us.
Why if someone attack my home with a gun, illegal gun? What I do? By the knife, I cannot do anything.
Yes, that's.
And if I call 911, maybe they came late after 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I don't have.
I think any place to solve this problem, any place has a lot of group of people must be secured. Must be secured, like a school, university.
Okay.
Any place there are a lot of people there must be secured with this technology in the airport or any security guard.
What do you think about like going to the movie theater?
Yeah, also this is a group of people. And what happened in Colorado, when someone entered before I think 2 months, they killed 14 person in Colorado in the theater. So any place they have a lot of people, a group of people, I think they must put this device, or they put security guard. Okay.
Does anybody?
Lisa.
Yes, Luis.
Lisa. I'm think the big problem is it's the life. It's losing value.
Value. Yes, I'll write it in the chat. Value.
Yes.
Value. Yes.
It's value.
Yes.
Here in Brazil, some crimes do because the people don't pay. I don't know, £10. They kill them because for £10.
Yeah.
And here at the government sent the campaign call it count until that 10. Count until 10.
Count until 10.
Yes. When you angry with.
Oh yes. Okay.
Just stop and count until 10.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, that's something that is happening, or has been happening in schools, is trying to teach children, but also now adults even, how do you deal with your anger? What do you do when you're really, really, really mad and you feel like hurting somebody or breaking something? because some people seem to think that it's okay to destroy things, to blow things up, or to hurt other people when they don't feel good. So one of the topics we've talked about so far has been the gun control issues, and Junaid brought up that right now in the United States, because you can get guns, and even people get even illegal types of guns, that a lot of people in the United States are worried that if you tell them they can't have their guns, they won't feel safe because of what might happen. Maybe in their neighborhood there's more crime, and so they feel safer if they have their own gun, and that way they can protect themselves and their family members in case something like a robbery happens. Or is that what you're saying, Junaid?
Yes.
Yes. So that's right how it is in the United States. So it's there's many complicated factors right now, and of course with a population, I think 300 million people in the United States, it's a lot of people to try to control and try to tell them what they can do, because the United States is definitely, they don't like to be told what to do. Okay, Luis, you have your hand up.
Okay, I'd like to comment something that you guys were talking. I think the beginning of the problem starts when the people, have this thought in their heads. So the way I'm gonna, how can I say, I'm gonna, I lost the word in my head. The way I'm gonna help me for the robbery it would be having a gun. I think it's the beginning of the problem. I think I don't need a gun to protect myself or my family. I think that's the problem. I think if everybody starts to think in this way, so the protection begins. We're having our own guns. I think that's the problem, and I think I think that's the problem. The easy way you American guys have to to get the weapons. I think it's totally related to this facility to get weapons. Right. Even here in Brazil, we don't. It's so much difficult to get weapons. Even if it would buy illegally ways.
Yes.
I don't. For you have how can I say, an idea. Yes. I don't have any friend that have any gun. I don't have any friend that have any gun. I'm not used to see friends of mine having guns. So I think it's totally the opposite that happens in the United States. It's totally easy to see any citizens having guns. It's not. I think it's not a good idea to the people having guns.
Yes. Victor, do you want to have an opinion about any of this, or do you want to say anything? I'm just checking in to see if you want to say anything. Otherwise, I'll keep talking. Okay. Yes. So, of course, the guns and them being available is one of the issues. Another one of the issues, which I think Luis keeps trying to bring up more, is of that our value of life and living, and how we're living these days. In the United States, we have so many people living together, and many families are broken, not just because there might be divorce or something like that, which doesn't necessarily, make it's not so traumatic, but there's lots of people who are growing up and they don't have a lot of friends or a lot of connections or a lot of people who love and care about them. And so it does seem that some of these people, because they're so desperate and like Luis was saying, maybe for fame or trying to get attention, or they're just very angry at the world. Sometimes it seems like that is one factor that might contribute to them deciding that they're going to do this. You know, some people who get very upset and angry, but they have people who love them and care about them and treat them kindly. They have ways of dealing with their anger or their upset. Maybe they go play basketball or go kick a soccer ball around, or maybe they go do some boxing or play the drums. But there's other people who in the United States, and I'm sure in other countries, they don't have support, we call it. They don't have the type of support that helps them feel better. And this is something that's really a big topic in the United States, is what do you do with people who have mental illness or that are mentally ill? So maybe they have maybe some kind of autism, or they have something that is just not the same, that's like something that's the regular way of thinking, that you and I would think a certain way. Their brain maybe works a different way, and a lot of people say that a lot of these people who are doing the shooting are on some kind of psychiatric drugs. Hold on here. So in the United States, another big factor in all of this is the fact that the drug companies are very quick to want to sell their drugs, and so doctors nowadays are very quick to put people on some medications, these drugs, and they have side effects that can be very harmful for their thinking and their way their brain is working. I'm wondering if that's something that you've heard about, either heard about in relationship to the United States or in your own country, about these types of psychiatric drugs that they're using to try to help these people feel better and think better, but that actually some of the side effects are leading people to do these things that maybe they wouldn't otherwise do. I'm wondering if anybody knows about that.
Oh.
I think you talk about the people who do that. They have a mental something, I don't know the name.
Like a diagnosis. I was talking about like a diagnosis. Somebody. Yeah.
And what happened like in Arizona before 1 year.
Okay.
One guy shot a 14 person, and one of them, it's Congresswoman.
Yes.
I think, yeah. And after they check him, they have a problem.
Yes.
But I think they can make an limitation to people have a gun. For example, age, the minimum age. I think all the people who did this crime, they are teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
So if they put in the law, you need to have a gun, you must be at least 25 or 28, like for example. Mm-hmm. And the second thing, the record. They must check the record for these people who want to have a gun legally.
Yeah.
If he has any problem in the past, they don't give him.
Yeah.
So they can do some limitation to control the weapons.
Yeah, so certainly, Junaid, a lot of people would agree with you, and the only thing that I would point out about this particular incident, which is interesting, is this young person, he was only 20, his mom owned these guns. She was in her 50s, so she was not a young person, and she did get these guns legally. So it's kind of, while that is obviously a good method for gun control, it doesn't guarantee that somebody who is in that family or has access to somebody else's guns.
If there is a gun in the family, all the family, they use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
so
difficult to control this object.
Yeah. That's why I think a lot of people are trying to get to what we call the, what would you say, get to the bottom of it, or get to the crux of it, or the thing that really causes it. What is the real cause of somebody to do something like that? And I think a lot of people they want to understand about the mental health of people. And what I was mentioning before is that in the United States, it can be very difficult. Let's see, I'm going to write it. It can be very difficult to get good health care. So some people have the argument that some of these people have shown signs of needing more assistance or more help, either from doctors or counselors, or maybe their parents needed help in parenting techniques that would, be better for that child. So I don't know if in other countries that's easier to get. So one of the Luises, is it easier? Do you think that it's easy in Brazil for people who need help to get help that they need? Like if they're sick? No?
It's so hard because here have a big problem with corruption.
Mm-hmm.
Big problem with
Big
corruption.
problem. Yeah.
Yes. So the hospital doesn't work.
Yeah.
The public hospital. The public schools doesn't work.
Okay.
It's a big problem here in Brazil.
Yeah. Luis Alberto, would you agree that that's hard to meet people's needs to get the health care that they need for mental health in Brazil?
Especially, what do you mean? To get a treatment?
Yes.
For their problems of mental?
Yeah, maybe counseling or support and help. Yes.
Well, I think here in Brazil we have some problems like the another we said, but we have some good things over here in our, how can I say, in our health government places. And I think when related to this issue, when we are talking about the mental illnesses,
yes,
I think it's not too hard to find a free
like a clinic or something.
Free treatment. It's not hard. And by the way, I work for the government. I work in an institution for health here in Brazil, and I can say that it's not hard, and it's not hard at all. I think it's easy. By the way, I think it's easy to get helping for problems related to the mental illnesses.
Sure. I'm wondering also, I haven't ever been to Brazil, but my brother lived in Brazil for a year, and it seemed like similar to other Latin American countries and South American countries where the family is very important. So you typically, many people get a lot of support from their family. Would you say that that's true?
That's true.
Yeah. Because what's happened more and more in the United States is that more and more people are not so connected to their family, and many people, they're trying to raise kids without any help from their grandparents or aunts and uncles, and they're working full-time, so there can be a lot of stress for parents and for children and people in the community, because sometimes people don't even know their neighbors at all, and so it's a kind of a factor of people not really caring very much about their neighbors, or because they don't really know them. So, Motaz, you had a question about grammar?
Yeah.
Tell me.
I just want to know what's the difference when I say I'm no expert and I'm not an expert.
I'm not an expert is the correct way to say it. or you can say I'm not an expert, or I'm no. Oh, I see what you're saying. I'm no expert. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can. The difference is just kind of like the emphasis that you're making. I'm not an expert is probably a more formal way of speaking. If you say I'm no expert, that would be a little bit more of an informal way of speaking, and it's still correct. You're just saying, with both of those sentences, you're just saying that you're not an expert. So you could say, I'm not an expert in mental health care, and that would be when you're talking to maybe a professional group and you're explaining that that's not something that you know a lot about. But if you're talking to your friends and you're just saying, hey, I'm no expert, so you would say, I'm no expert in that, yeah. So it means the same thing. So that's a good question. So it's 6 o'clock. I don't know if Verbling has any more classes right now.
No, no more.
Sorry. Unfortunately. And I'm going to go out to dinner and and go see a movie. I'm going to go see Life of Pi. Has anybody seen Life of Pi? The movie?
No.
Well, it should be pretty good. You can look it up on Google. It's kind of an adventure movie with a tiger and the guy from India or something.
Okay.
I saw the trial of the movie.
Yeah.
Yes, me too. I saw the trailer also.
Cool.
I know.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to be doing.
I hope it's not violent.
Okay.
I hope it's not too violent. Yes. Well, that's the reality is some things are violent, but then some things are crazy violent, like shooting and stuff. That's like, we call that senseless violence is what people call that. Senseless. It makes no sense. We can't understand it. So I just want to say thank you guys for joining me. This is a very difficult topic to talk about because there are many hard issues and it's very complicated.
Hard vocabulary.
There's some hard vocabulary, and of course it's a very sad topic as well. So it's never very fun to have to talk about people leaving the planet early. So
Lisa, it's always nice to participate in your class.
Well, thank you, Luis. It's nice to have
really
you in my
like
class.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay,
Have
great.
a good night and good film for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'll see you next time.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Lisa.
Bye-bye.